Welcome to the Retirement Income Source with Tim Sparks. Our show is sponsored by Sparks Financial Group right here in the heart of the Bluegrass, Lexington, Kentucky. This show is committed to you, the listener. Whether you're traveling down the road, or you're fixing to stop and get something to eat, or you're at home listening at your own comfort of your home. You see, you can be a pre-retiree who is fixing to retire, and your goal is you want to get it right. And also for those of you that are already maybe early in retirement, or maybe been midway through retirement, your goal is you want it to end well. All I can say is for you is be diligent. You see, you got to understand you are on your own. We are in a yo-yo economy. And not only that, it's getting more and more sophisticated. And I get it. We still want things to be simple. But when it comes to planning your retirement, it's not necessarily that simple. It's not just as simple as actually just pulling money out of your portfolios with not even understanding where the money is coming from. You see, that's what this show is, to helping you to see and understand. Is it coming from your own money that you worked hard for, or is it coming from real income? But here's what I'm going to share with you. If you're a pre-retiree or early in retirement, and you are utilizing the same strategies, in other words, you're just using mutual funds or exchange traded funds, and you're taking income from that each and every month, beware. Why? Because you may not know this, but even if you look at your statement, you may not know this right out of the gate. But each and every month, there's a portion of that money is a return of your own money, and the other portion, which is a much smaller amount, is a return of actual income. And this is going to happen each and every month. And so the snowball, as it's going down the hill, typically the amount of principal is actually getting decreased each and every paycheck, slowly but surely. And you know, that is the reason why that I decided I'm going to name this show something different. In other words, who will you hire to get you through retirement? The whole goal is who is philosophically in line with what you're looking for? Is your investment strategy set for purpose, or is it still performance-based? That's the reason I said, if you're set up and you got primarily mutual funds, that's what got you to the point to where you could retire. Because mutual funds does very well when it comes to accumulating of wealth. And not only that, you probably were kind of handcuffed to your 401k because you had no other choice. And so, you know, what we don't know doesn't hurt, right? In other words, if we continue utilizing the same tools that got us to here, we're assuming that it's going to get us there. The only way that will happen is if the markets go up or go to the moon each and every year. Now think about what I just said for a moment. In other words, it's going to continue to increase each and every year in a steady pattern. Well, you know and I know that that's never ever happened. Yes, there's been periods where the markets, kind of like a jagged sawtooth, went up the hill, kind of like the 90s, for example. But you got to be concerned about is what if they don't? You know, we all like predictions. You know, I was just watching a prediction today on Bloomberg, was talking about that interest rate cuts are going to start at the end of the year. Well, here's what I know about predictions. It doesn't mean they will happen. Do you know most of the times predictions do not occur? So you don't want to invest assuming that. Now, people, I am not a pessimist. I'm an optimist. You can't be in business as a business owner for 25 plus years, which I've been in business, and not be an optimist. But I'm also a realist when it comes to people's money, because I've seen the effects and the effects emotionally on people's faces whenever they invested their money in the markets that they thought was going to get them through retirement, because they never did even change anything that they were doing from the original retirement plan. In other words, they just stayed the course. Some people will leave their money in their 401ks and just draw money from their 401ks. You see, retirement needs to be intentional. And if the intention is to get income, then you need to find tools that actually will get you income while you're in retirement. And I hate to tell you, I hate to be the bearer of bad news, mutual funds, yes, they can get you through retirement, but you got to have a lot of wind at your back and the bicycle going down the hill, for example, for that to work. But if the markets go the other direction, it's like going up a hill and you're pumping and pumping that bicycle and you got the wind at your face. In other words, that's going to affect your retirement. And that's exactly what people want to avoid. That's the reason why a lot of people are concerned, will they outlive their money? You see, intentional means you got to invest your money in a way that you can intentionally get income each and every month. And if you get income and none of it comes from principal, in other words, you're not engineering your withdrawals by just taking portions of your principal and selling certain shares of maybe certain investments that haven't done very well. I get it. I understand. That's exactly what most people do to get income. If you're not doing it, your financial advisor is. Sometimes people may do a 3 to 6 month reserve account. They'll sell so many shares and they'll set it aside in hopes that what they've sold was going to recover. Well, I hate to tell you, anytime you sell principal in that fashion, you're setting yourself up for a great early retirement, but a unpleasant later retirement. So today's show is, who will you hire? In other words, what is the philosophy of that financial advisor, and are they in line with you? And we're going to provide you with questions. Matter of fact, we provide people with a lot of questions that you should ask. This should be you interviewing to find out who you're looking for, not them interviewing you. Because it's going to be financial jargon if it's coming from them. And a lot of it you probably don't even understand. But I want to get a commission report that actually we're going to talk throughout today's show about being intentional about finding the right true retirement income specialist. And this commission report can be yours. Again, it's 10 signs, are you working with a true retirement income specialist, and what to look for, and being intentional, because after all, it's your retirement and you want to get it right. And you can get this report by calling 888-930-1080. Again, that's 888-930-1080. We'll mail it to you or email it to you, whichever you prefer. Again, that number is 888-930-1080. You're listening to the Retirement Income Source. That's right, you're dialed in to 590 AM, the Retirement Income Source. I'm Tim Sparks, and we're talking today about who are you going to hire. And if you're in retirement, did you make the right decision? You know, a question sometimes I'll ask, if I can think of it, when we're in a meeting, I'll ask the potential client. I'll ask him. I say, 3 years from now, what do you want your retirement to look like? In other words, in order to feel like it's you, if you hire us, and that's not something that we take lightly, but if you did hire us because you're considering it, because you've asked questions related to that, but if you decide to hire us, what has to happen for you to feel like you made the right decision? Well, you see, that's a loaded question, and I get a lot of answers. And really, to be honest with you, I'm all ears, because I really want to know what they want that retirement to look like. And one thing that really comes out very clear is they don't want to sell their principal. They don't want to see their balances decrease. They want to preserve But simultaneously, you got to keep in mind, there's something here we got to add to this. While simultaneously taking income out of that portfolio. You see, that's a tall order when you're asking a financial advisor to do two things in one, like killing two birds with one stone. That's the reason why I share with you our philosophy. Because we believe if you want to get more mileage out of your money, if you want to preserve your principal, then you want to invest for true income the old-fashioned way. Income that's going to be paid to you regardless of what the markets are going to do. Regardless if the markets are predictably to go up or they're predictably to go down. I don't have to focus on predictions. I don't have to focus on crystal balls and trying to figure out if the crystal ball is going to go this direction and we're going to invest this way and hope it's going to work out. You see, because hope is not a strategy. And it can actually be very disappointing. And I can be the most optimist person and still run the risk of running out of money. And don't get me wrong, I like being around optimistic people, but when you go into retirement, you need to be intentional and be realistic and understand that the markets will go two directions when you are in retirement. They're going to go up and they are going to go down. So, that's a question that we're actually going to cover here just in a few minutes is, what do I mean by being intentional? In other words, who is it that invests for income? Because I hear every financial advisor out there tell me that they're retirement planners. Well, as you know, we talk about there's two type of income strategies out there, not 20. If you meet with 20 advisors, you're going to hear 20 different ways that you can utilize retirement planning in some way. Some of them could be using software to display your retirement plan, and others could be utilizing spreadsheets or Monte Carlo simulations. There's so many ways. I've been through all of this. To me, it doesn't work. It's not income. It's if-come, possibly. The word if-come versus income. And that just does not sit well with me. That's the reason I decided I'm not going to continue to go down that path 5 or 6 years ago, because investing that way is actually setting you up to be very disappointed. And not only that, I want to keep our clients for a long time. I know I can keep them if I invest in true income. Well, we're coming up on a break, and I will let you know about an excellent book called Common Sense Income Strategies. It's authored by CPA Michael Easton. And we talk about the investing for income, and most importantly, a question that most of us won't answer is, why isn't my advisor making these kind of recommendations? Because that's a very, very common question, and it's a great question. Because everybody thinks everybody is planning the same way, and that is, I hate to tell you this, not true. And I got a free copy for the first 5 callers of today's retirement income source by calling 888-930-1080. Again, that's 888-930-1080. And we'll mail this out to you if you're one of the first 5 callers. Free, no obligation book. 888-930-1080. You're listening to the Retirement Income Source with Tim Sparks. We'll be right back. Welcome to the Retirement Income Source with Tim Sparks, your host. Our show is sponsored by Sparks Financial Group right here in the heart of the Bluegrass, Lexington, Kentucky. This show is always going to be helping you to understand the importance of income investing while in retirement, especially if you're one of those who are afraid you're going to run out of money. There are many solutions out there, but I hate to tell you, there's only really 2 ways you're going to get income in retirement. That's it. Let's keep this simple. You're either going to take withdrawals from your retirement plans and call it income, or you're going to actually get income because you're intentionally investing for income, and you transition intentionally to invest for income because now you're in another phase in life. It's all about transitioning. What I don't like about the withdrawal plan is it's reliant on market history to be the same reflection of the past performance, to be the same reflection of future performance. So therefore, you're going to be utilizing what we call possibly a 4% cash flow rule. That will only work if the markets cooperate. And I've just don't think that that's going to happen. I think the markets are going to go up and down. And so just in the last 20 plus years, we've had 13 years of no returns. In other words, 13 zeros. You didn't have any growth at all. So in other words, anybody that went through that time frame lost a minimum of half their money, if not more. And by the way, I've run across people that actually that we've talked to that actually it did happen, and you can't hardly recover it. It's very hard to recover when you get so far down. And and I think a lot of it is just because a lot of people follow the herd. They think if everybody's doing it, they feel comfortable in numbers. Well, I hate to tell you, the rich doesn't do that. Large insurance companies does not invest that way. Large corporations does not even invest that way. They invest for income because they realize that corporation is going to be around. And you know this. You know a lot of corporations has been in business for more than 30 years. Insurance companies, a lot of them have been in the business 80, 90, 100, 150 or 200 years. And have you ever wondered how in the world can they do that? How in the world can they sustain their capital going through different difficult times in the markets? It's because they invest in not a secret, they invest in bonds. And if you think about it for a moment, who in the world is going to get wealthy investing in bonds? Well, think about it for a moment. You're trying to get a duration in your retirement. You're trying to get more mileage out of your money. And so maybe we need to learn something from corporations. That's exactly what they do. They maintain their balance and they hire the best of the best to manage those accounts. So that way when times get tough, they can still sustain their balance sheets and so forth. And it's the same thing with you. I mean, that's the whole go, right? Is increase our paychecks, increase them from the more you increase your income, investing for income, intentionally invest for income, the more you increase it from the income column, the less you need from your principal. I hate to tell you, bear bad news, you're not getting that type of retirement plan right now. That's the reason why it's so important to seek out an income specialist. An income specialist is an individual, kind of like a heart surgeon or a cardiologist versus a general practitioner. Have you ever wondered who makes more money? Well, who makes more money is typically the specialist. We're in a sophisticated time and people are looking for the best of the best. They're looking for somebody that's really, really good and specializing in something. And so in this case, for a doctor, a general practitioner, yeah, they're great, they're needed. But the specialist, the heart surgeon, is going to make more money than the doctor because specialization is extremely important. And if you think about it for a moment, you need a specialist when it comes to retirement. You need somebody that looks at the markets each and every day, not talking to clients and managing your money. I hate to tell you that you're not going to get any great advice that way because you can't watch the markets and invest people's money. And not only that, as markets change, as economy change, the trends change and make those changes. You have to put a Superman on somebody's shirt to be able to do that. They can't do both. So that's the reason why that you got to understand the philosophy, what behind the philosophy. Who are they using? Are they using analysts to manage your money or are they trying to do it on their own? I mean, if you think about it for a moment, if somebody is a builder and they build a house, they don't go in there, lay the foundation, do the excavation, get the footer and everything set. After that, start doing what the carpenter does, puts the walls up, the 2x4s and so forth, measures everything out. Then all of a sudden gets the roof started and so forth. And then they bring out a roofer, puts up shingles. No, there's specialties in each one of those places. And so you don't want to be a builder. You can do all of those. Or you're going to slowly build that house. It may take you several years. Well, you see, when you invest in people's money, it's the same thing. People have their certain positions, certain specialties that they do very, very well. I decided a long time ago that I want an offensive specialist and I want a defensive specialist. You need both while you're in retirement, because offensive specialist helps you to get through maybe some inflationary times. Defensive specialist at the same time helps you to get income while you're going through those periodic declines. So if this makes sense to you, I like to get a commission report in your hand called the 10 Signs You're Working with a True Retirement Income Specialist. An excellent read. Now, this doesn't answer a lot of questions, which I'm going to help you with today. Matter of fact, this is in the last chapter of my upcoming book at the end of the year, is helping you to be a guide so that way you can interview and give you, help you to have the ability to be able to walk away if you're talking with the wrong retirement specialist to get you through retirement. And this report can be yours if you call 888-930-1080. Again, that's 888-930-1080. This is simple and helpful piece. We'll mail it or email it, whichever you prefer. Again, that's 888-930-1080. This is the Retirement Income Source. You're listening and tuned in to Tim Sparks, your host, and we're talking today about who will you hire? Who are you going to hire to get you through the next 20 or 30 years? What advisor makes the most sense for you and your retirement that you envisioned? Now, if you think about it, you got your go-go years, you got your slow-go years, and you got your possibly the no-go years if you make it that far. The most important years are the years you want to enjoy retirement, and you don't want to miss what those goals are, because a lot of people don't put those on paper. What they do is they just look at their bills and they say, okay, this is all I need to retire. They go ahead and step into retirement, not realizing that the time that they have now on their hands is they're going to do something besides sitting at home watching TV every day, or eating bonbons or eating popcorn. They may be able to do a few things, but they kind of restricted their retirement and missing out on things that they otherwise could enjoy. And the reason why is a lot of it is because they don't even know how to spend their own money that they've saved for retirement. If you invest for income the right way, you can actually do that. But you can reach those goals as well. And as if you're like most people that come in and meet with us, they cannot live on Social Security alone. So you got to have something to bridge that gap. Not just the basic stuff that you need, but also the things you want to do, the fun stuff. After all, it is retirement. I'm willing to bet you 15, 20 years ago, while you were saving, you once had that vision that you wanted to enjoy retirement. But maybe over the years, as we get a little older, we probably get a little realistic. Well, maybe I can cut out some of those things. Well, here's what I know. What if I told you that you're leaving money on the table? Otherwise, I'd help you can do some of those things. I mean, it doesn't hurt to find all that out. I mean, if you found out, I mean, I had a couple in our office the other day, and all they can get was about $12,000 a year. This was done through a retirement risk report analysis. All they can get is $12,000 a year. And if you add that to their $65,000 Social Security, they're living on about $80,000, a little less than $80,000 a year. So the thing is, they were making, when they were in retirement, while they were still working, they were making about $140,000 a year. So these people were really, really going to have to change their lifestyle drastically. But here's the thing. They keep in mind, they're only getting $12,000 because that's all they were getting in income. So I showed them, if they want to still stay in the market and still be able to deal with the ups and the downs and the wins and the losses and the whims of what the market fluctuation is going to do, then why not increase your income while you're riding these periodic declines and increases in the markets? I said, so they had about $900,000. So $900,000 means that they can get, and now listen to this, not $1,000 a month, which is the plan they're in right now, but another $2,500 a month. I don't know about you, but I can use $2,500 a month. You'll be surprised the people we talk to that have been affected by inflation dramatically in the last couple of years. And so sometimes I wonder if that's the reason why people hold back, because of inflation. So you don't want to leave money on the table. After all, we need to win all we can. We need all the income we can get, and especially if it's coming from the right place. So we're coming up on a break, and I'll let you know about an excellent book that talks a lot about the strategy we talk about on the radio each and every week. The name of the book is called Common Sense Income Strategies, authored by CPA Michael Easton. And I got a free copy for the first 5 callers of today's retirement income source by calling 888-930-1080. Again, that's 888-930-1080. And we'll mail this book out to you if you're one of the first 5 callers. Free, no obligation book, 888-930-1080. When we come back, we're going to give you some questions that you need to ask when you talk to people you're interviewing, the financial advisor. We thank you for listening to the show, and we hope you've learned a lot from this show, and we hope it was beneficial. We look forward to next week for some more great information for our loyal listeners. Thank you for listening.